Do that, I reckon.
And I put everybody on a group.
Woo!
So my wife had him. They got any land in it. Okay. I got the land over here.
No, I want to flip the screen. There we go. Let's flip the screen.
Jay, this is your flip phone?
Yes, sir. Here.
All right. Shall I start?
Yeah. Please.
Am I live? I'm live. Okay, cool. All right. Y'all, I try to stream these live streams so people that don't make it can look at it later. But I'm having issues with my microphones and StreamYard, so I'm trying to go straight through YouTube this time. So y'all bear with me. I don't know if the microphones are going to pick up on YouTube or not.
Maybe our new members want to know what your CB handle is.
Okay, so I have a YouTube channel. I'm still kind of new at this. My YouTube is Grammy Midwife's Hives and Homestead, and I'm right here in Ozark. So I'm not monetized yet, but that's all right. I don't do it mainly for the money. I do have a few subscribers. I got over 1,600 subscribers, so it's getting there. But what Lynn was asking us to do is talk about some of the things. I'm going to take my glasses off. Talk about some of the things that we can do with products from the hive. And I don't just cover beeswax. I cover all different products of the hive. And when you start beekeeping, you start looking at not just honey, because honey is your easy seller, but it's not your big seller. So you start looking into some of the other things that you can do with products from the beehive. One of those things is beeswax. You have got tons of uses for beeswax. Beeswax is the gold of beekeepers. So when you get that drawn comb, if you can help it, don't do the crush and strain method when you're getting honey out. Try to save as much comb as you can. That comb is real gold, because when you put it on the hive the next season, those bees are ready to fill up those little cells with all that beautiful liquid gold. But one of the things we do when you are, now I do use my honey for other things, and I guess I can start with that. Everybody's ready for dessert, aren't you? Can you open these?
Maybe I'll make an exception for you.
So one of the things that I'm big into is I love preserving food, and I love to get homegrown stuff as much as I can. But my most famous jam is cherry amaretto. And unfortunately, cherries don't grow very well here in Zone 9, Zone 8B, Zone 8A. So I do have to buy cherries, but it's becoming quite popular with a friend of mine in Mississippi. He calls me and he says, "You got any cherry amaretto jam?" And I was like, "No," but I sent him a text and I said, "I just bought about 11 pounds, 12 pounds of cherries." And he said, "I'll take 8 jars." And I said, "Okay." So I shipped him 8 jars of cherry amaretto jam. And, but oops, well, I won't put that back on. But y'all can pass this around. Y'all excuse me. I save everything. You know how old people are. We save packets and of sauces and spoons and everything. So if y'all want to try some of the jam, I make this with honey. I quit making with sugar as much. Now this is my fuzzy navel. I make boozy jams. There is alcohol in every jam I make, but of course the alcohol is cooked off, but you do get the flavor. This is a fuzzy navel, so it's made with peach, oranges. The oranges for our local satsumas. I also make an orange bourbon vanilla, but I didn't have any of that. That's newer. These are this year's jams. But this is fuzzy navel. If y'all want to put your clean spoonie in one time.
We got some taste spoons right here.
No double dipping. And this is the infamous cherry amaretto. Now, I use honey, like I said, instead of sugar. I I also make the orange marmalade, and I make that with locally grown satsumas, and it's pretty popular too. But another thing is we've started doing a lot with our beeswax. Oops. This is my own recipe. It is a bug repellent bar. Here, I'll put this over here. Y'all can pass that around. And believe it or not, it works. These are chapsticks. Now, I didn't bring our latest flavor of chapsticks. I think you brought chapsticks too, didn't you? Chapstick, or excuse me, lip balm. Chapstick is a trademark. Lip balm. Lip balm. We have our original flavor, which is my son's favorite, is peppermint vanilla. And this is mango margarita. And then we have also just started making caramel apple. This is one of the more famous things that you can do with beeswax. And this is a lotion bar. Lotion bars are wonderful if you don't like a bunch of sticky, slimy lotion, watery lotion. The lotion bars and body butters are really good to use after you get out of the shower and you still have some moisture on your body, and you put that on there. The lotion bars and the lip balm are very easy to make. They're usually 3 different ingredients, 1 part of each. But the lip balm, I almost said it, the lip balm and lotion bars are almost exactly the same. So y'all I'll start this one around here. How about that?
Is that all we have?
No. Man, y'all be eating my profits. This is the body butter. Now, body butter is a little bit different, but we do put enough wax in it, and we also put some propolis tincture in it. The wax has a humectant type of property, the same as honey. And if you don't know what a humectant is, humectant, it helps to retain water, okay? This is the lavender vanilla body butter. This too you use going around. I'll let y'all smell that and pass around. That's lavender. That's not for men. Men don't like lavender. And then here are some of my soaps. You like that? So this is, don't eat it. I mean, it's probably edible, but it may not taste very good. I try to make even the bug repellent bar to where it at least smells decent and you don't smell like a bottle of off.
Yeah, it smells like no gnats.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. No gnats is mostly essential oils.
Right.
And that I use mostly essential oils. Now I do use some fragrance oils, I'll be honest, because some of the ladies like some of the stronger scents. These are some of the soaps. The nice thing about putting beeswax in soap is it makes for a very hard soap bar. So it does not go away as fast as if you didn't use beeswax. And it doesn't take much beeswax to make a hard bar.
It doesn't melt in the shower as easy.
The one I've got now, let me see. This is our shampoo bar. I'm going to open it up because it's the last one we've got. This is one of the shampoo bars.
I've been looking for a shampoo bar.
You need one, Philip.
We need a scrub.
This is made with apple cider vinegar, charcoal, activated charcoal, rosemary, some other things. But anyway, it's got all the stuff in it for hair growth. See?
Hey.
Because he needs the hair growth. And these are some of the soaps. What?
So he's going to be prizes tonight.
No, not all of them. I've got one. Don't worry.
How much
I
do you
think
charge for your
this is
shampoo bars?
impressive, actually.
My what?
How much do you charge for a shampoo bar?
The shampoo and the soap bars I sell for $6 each or 3 for $15.
We're gonna be in the.
Okay, cool. Well, I've got a whole new batch that has not been wrapped and labeled that we're taking to the ABA conference next weekend. But I can sell any of this tonight. I didn't bring a lot, but I can sell any of it tonight. But y'all can, I mean, you can pass these, y'all can pass these around, huh? I did. I brought a door prize. This got some surprises. Now I do.
What is it? Oh, yes. I don't know where, can I get 3 or 4? Just one? Seriously, I'm trying to just get one. Okay.
Now I've got more shampoo bars at home, but I did not make them with apple cider. Oh, it's got apple cider vinegar, green tea, rosemary, mint, and some other stuff. But the one I've got at home is just a rosemary mint. This is our original flavor chapstick. Here is our original flavor chapstick. Y'all can open it up and smell it. It's not as, no, please don't. You can smell it.
Some of those lip balms are too wet sometimes, and for men, I mean, we don't like them real glossy, you know?
Well, some of the lip balms are too hard and they just kind of drag on your lips. These I have found.
I might give away some too.
Oh, okay. Oh, I get to choose? Okay. I get a number. I like using the equal parts of shea butter, coconut oil, and beeswax. As long as you're using equal parts of those, then it makes for a more, you can feel it. That's a tester. You can feel it.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find that when you're pouring them into the tubes that you gotta go fast because it hardens really fast, or do you have a little bit of work time?
We have the tubes, but we also have the form that fits over the tubes. So you're pouring it in, and we get it pretty hot.
Okay.
We get it pretty hot. So we're pouring it in there, and then we scrape the top. We take that, remelt it, because it's going to sink down in the center when you make lip balms. So you want to remelt what you scrape off and pour that over the top again, and that makes a nice even chapstick or lip balm, excuse me. But now that was the original.
I like that texture.
Yeah, my son likes it, and he is like, he's a lip balm. He is a lip balm. I've got a tester in here of this one somewhere. Oh, well, we can just take one of them. I don't care. This is the mango margarita, and these scents are not super strong. Here, I'll let you do this, and we can pass these around. Did everybody get to see all this? Okay.
Yeah, very good.
One of them smelled like Old Spice. Or no, it was Stetson.
One of them smelled like
Sorry, it
Stetson.
smelled like Stetson.
Okay, cool. Now our next one that we're just getting into is propolis tincture. Propolis, if you think beeswax is gold, propolis is the platinum diamonds out of your hives. Propolis is a mixture of beeswax, tree sap, honey. It's everything. The bees bring this tree sap in, and they seal. It's like they're caulking. It seals the hive. They have now done research. They know that it has antiviral, antibacterial, and anti-yeast properties. Y'all don't know what I do for a trade. I'm a nurse midwife and nurse practitioner, so those things are pretty important to me. Now, I can't push this as a health product because it's not approved by the FDA, but I can say that research shows that propolis even helps us, and I can attest to it. I was at Hive Life 2-3 years ago, and there was something, I don't know what it was in the auditorium. It was like the air conditioning. Everybody was getting a sore throat. And I found somebody that was selling propolis tincture in a spray bottle. I sprayed my throat, and my dry sore throat went away. I had a toothache. I used this with a dropper. Now I've got it in smaller bottles. This is not ready yet. I try to let it sit. Well, no. Yeah, it's ready. I like it to sit about 4 to 6 months. So this has been in here for 6 months. Y'all can open this and smell it, but it stinks. It tastes crappy, and it's strong. I mix mine 1-to-1 with propolis and vodka. Some people use Everclear, which Everclear does do better. And my next batch, I'll be using Everclear. But the Everclear is 100 proof. This is 80 proof. So it's strong, but it just doesn't pull as much out of the propolis as the Everclear, the higher proof alcohol, I should say. And I don't know if it's a difference in the grain alcohol and the potato alcohol, but it does make a difference. The propolis seems to dissolve better and you get a stronger tincture. But now this works just fine because I used it. I had a tooth that was trying to abscess on me, and I used it for about 2 or 3 days, nothing else, and the abscess went away.
And the only thing I want to share, I mean, everything she said is true. In China, they use this regularly. You just want to make sure that you drink it with a straw, and you put the straw past your teeth.
Yeah.
It is going to turn your teeth dark if you put it in your mouth and rinse it like you do
Right.
the Coke, but it's excellent stuff.
It's just like the English drinking tea. That's why my teeth are brown, because I drink a lot of tea. But you got to understand, though, that when you're keeping bees, you're not just doing it for the honey. There's so many different products that you can bring together out of your hives, and you can make your bees self-sustainable. I mean, we're paying for our vendor booth at the fall conference with money that we've sold soaps. So the bees are at least keeping their own now. They're paying their own way. So
Is this propolis down in the bottom there? Or is that
I
something-
think it's mixed with some beeswax. I want to say that there's beeswax in there too, but that's certainly not going to hurt anything.
No, I just didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
That-
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm still incredibly new to all this.
Mhm.
I have not had to tell visually the difference between propolis and beeswax.
So when you pop the lid off of your hive, now if you're doing it in the summer, propolis is obvious because it strings up in these nice, pretty little peaks on the top of the hive. When you pull a frame, you got any frames?
Yes.
I got a friend.
We can show. You got one that's got some propolis on it? Okay. So that's all right. That's all right. I can use that.
You'll know the propolis because it gets smeared off with your finger.
Right. The propolis, it is going to harden. The cooler it is, the harder it gets. And you're going to see it. I see propolis a lot along the sidebars. You'll see some on the top bars. But where you see it most is around the top of the box when you take your lid off.
So is that what's like where my frames touch when they're lined up? Is
Yes,
that what's
ma'am.
gluing them together?
Yes, ma'am. So and Italians are real good at it, but Caucasians are the bees that really produce the propolis. And I've got some queens that are a Caucasian carniolan mix, and they really make a lot of propolis.
And they have propolis traps too.
Mm-hmm.
that you
Yeah,
can
I
put
haven't
in.
put my traps on yet.
Yeah, there's like a link, so.
Mm-hmm.
I need to make
But every time you scrape a frame, keep like a little coffee can or something with you. And when you scrape burr comb, you put your burr comb in there. When you scrape propolis, put it in something else. I usually have a mason jar for propolis. Any more questions?
How much of the propolis do you mix in, like a jar that size, how much do you put in there?
I usually pack this full up to here with propolis, and then I will fill it with vodka. So it's
It breaks
basically
down.
a 1-to-1, and it breaks down.
Are you gonna leave it like that, or will you strain it?
No, I'll strain it off. I usually I thought I brought my dropper bottle, but I didn't. I get dropper bottles and also spray bottles, and I'll put it in there. I like the spray, like if I got a sore throat. I did have an earache coming on, and I dropped some propolis tincture down in there. It went away. Like, I swear by it. Swear by
Do
it.
you sell that too?
I'm going to. I haven't yet.
Skin things as well, I don't know if you've ever tried it on skin.
It'll regrow hair.
I actually put propolis tincture in all of my soap.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, I know, I use tea tree oil, like if I have a fever blister or anything on, and I imagine that works about the same.
Be cautious about tea tree oil.
Yeah. I
It
use
is
for this.
very strong. It's also very poisonous to ingest.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. Just letting you know that. The
I don't
bees,
drink it, but
I
like
love it for
skin
my
stuff,
bees. I
skin
love
stuff,
tea
I
tree oil
swear
for
by
my
it.
bees. I use tea tree. I make a concoction. Close your ears. Do this. I make a concoction with tea tree oil, wintergreen, or peppermint, and what's the other one I put in there? One other thing, and I dilute it and emulsify it with water, and then I dilute it even more and put it in my sugar water. It's basically homemade Hive Alive. That's what it is. And it also helps to prevent the sugar syrup that you're feeding your bees from fermenting, which Hive Alive does too. So, all right, I'm done. Go. Your turn.
All right, my turn. I don't do as much as she does yet. I'm still learning some of those things. She taught me a little bit there about propolis. And something to do with it. I've been collecting it for a while, and now I know something I'm going to try. On that note, I did learn.
Do we want to do it, show prize for what Lisa?
Oh.
Yeah,
What?
go ahead.
I didn't know if you wanted it.
Oh,
Or if
here.
you remember.
Is it okay? I hate to bother you.
Here.
No.
It works.
Get my-
Put it on my head.
If it's working, I don't even know.
What did you want to, what did you want
It's
to
right
have
here.
to give away?
Right here.
So
then
I
you
have
draw the
this
number.
cute little bathtub that has 2 of my soaps, a lotion bar, and a chapstick. So I'm gonna draw a number.
Lucky number. No, not that one.
You sure?
Go ahead.
13. Lucky 13.
Well, 13. Well, there we go.
All right, Jake.
Oh, well, I'm gonna add one thing she said about the propolis. I have heard that if you take your hive and you rough the inside walls of it, that they will start to propolize the inside of it, and then at the end of the year you can scrape it off. I haven't tried it yet, obviously, but they claim that that does work. So if you don't want to buy a propolis trap, you might try that just to see if it works. All right, so I was going to talk a little bit about rendering wax down. What I have done is I took my wax cappings and I take just a cheap 1 gallon paint strainer from Sherwin-Williams or Walmart or whoever's got one. And this is just a double strainer style steam basket here. And, well, it's been sitting in my yard and I got a critter running around in there. That's what happens when you have it in the yard. But it's just a double strainer basket. And I fill the mesh bag with my cappings, add water to it, and then you just melt it in the bag. And as you melt it in the bag, the wax will start to set on top of your water. And if you let it cool, it just makes like a plate of wax, and I pop it out and kind of go from there. I bought this as a wax melter because it has a good, like a spigot on it. It's a brass spigot. And I will tell you that one problem with the brass spigot is it does not get hot enough. And I do have to take a lighter and heat that up because that brass right there, that wax will hold and it won't flow. When I do get it to flowing, because it will, I have the other paint strainer here. That's a very fine paint strainer, much finer than the first one. And I just take a piece of jute, tie over it, and I hang it right from the spout, and I turn my spout on, and when I do, it runs through. And I use a silicone muffin pan as my very expensive wax mold. And once it cures, you can pop it straight up out of it. They're about 2.5 or 3 ounces a piece, but you can do a dozen at a time. And like you said, just let it run over the whole thing. When you pull them up, just peel the excess off and throw it. You can see I got some thrown in here where I peeled it off. They're just little thin sheets where I peeled them back off, and I'll remelt them. This thing costs like $130. You can probably use a crock pot and do just as well, but I really wanted it for the spout versus picking the thing up and trying to pour it, because I knew at some point my wife's going to kill me when I spill it all over the floor. So I needed to go ahead and do that. So that's the way I render my wax down. Like I said, it's a 1 gallon, just regular paint strainer. As my first, I just pack all my stuff in it, put it in that little boiler pot there, and let it just melt the wax out. Pull the bag up, let it drip. My advice, do it in the yard if you can. I use a gas burner. I did do it on the stove. Can be done in the house. My wife just says it smells bad, which basically means go do it outside. So that's what I do.
The same thing about me dehydrating peppers.
Yes, I do that as well, and that is another one. But yeah, like I said, just a little piece of fishing line or something. I use a little piece of jute my wife's got in there. Like I said, just hang it and leave it hanging over the counter, and I just fill my little tray up and let it fill up. And like I said, you wind up with your little hockey pucks. I think I got about 48 of them this year. That's the most I've ever had. And then like, just adding on what she did, lip balm's one thing I make. I got 3 different flavors that I use. I got a strawberry, I got a mint julep, and by accident a few years ago, I accidentally put some strawberry wax in with the mint julep wax, and I said, "Well, what the heck?" And my mom actually came out and was like, "That's actually really good." So it's that's exactly, and so it's very simple to do. Don't let something like lip balm drive you crazy because it's very easy to do. I'm fixing to try coconut oil. I've always used olive oil, but I'm fixing to use some coconut oil and try it in some. And I'm gonna see if it either has a coconut flavor or if I add the mint and whatnot. I'm just gonna play around with flavors. The bottle of oil that she was talking about she uses to flavor stuff with, I think I bought a 3-ounce bottle. It wasn't very expensive, and let me tell you, it don't take but a few drops. And I mean, that was about 3 ounces of wax, and I think in a pint jar was almost full of olive oil to dilute that. And I mean, y'all, that's a pile of little lip balms. So that's what I do. And like I said, it don't take a couple drops in there and you'll have whatever flavor you wanted. But that was really what I want to talk about, is just how to render your wax down, really. Amazon, I believe. But it's, like I said, I just wanted it for the spigot.
Wax melter that's made like for my soaps and stuff, but I hardly ever use it.
This is considered a wax wet melter. Like I said, I wish that was actually tucked up by the heat, because when your wax is cool, y'all, you can watch that whole thing will have liquid in it everywhere, and it just will not come out of that spout. And I got one of them grill lighters, and I just stand there, and once it does that, it'll start running out. You better be ready, because well, it's small. It would do it fast, because that little lighter, you probably 20 seconds with that lighter, it'll start flowing, versus taking the torch and doing it. If I was outside in the yard, I could probably hit it with a torch a couple seconds and set it down. But most people have a grill lighter, not a torch, man. But that's how I do it. And like I said, you can see this is one of the sheets where I broke it up out of the pot. They're only about 1/4 of an inch, and I just toss them in this pot. And when I do 2 or 3 days worth, then I start melting it and running it down, and that's really about it. I think I melted on about 185 degrees. This one's got a digital thermostat, so I got high tech. I went real high tech. You can adjust it. That's really about it. I've done, like I said, several pounds worth, and it's worked like a champ for me. So I just wanted to share that with y'all and let y'all know what you can do with some of your wax.
Do you have anything you want to? You got a couple of questions.
Yeah, you have questions?
Right here.
No.
When do you harvest, and how often do you harvest?
Well, I did twice this year, because my first flow, all my supers got full, and I knew there was a flow fixing to come from a tallow tree. I emptied everything I had, and then turned around and wound up with 9 more boxes after the tallow flow, which took only about 3.5 weeks. And that was only on 2 hives that they did that. And that's where I wound up with all the wax. And just like I said, save your cappings. Like she said, don't tear your comb up if at all possible. I got lucky and bought a hot knife from somebody that was getting out of the business, but a hot knife really does save you some time. The serrated knife, if you're not careful, it sometimes it'll pull the comb, especially if it's cool. But that hot knife will usually just cut right through it, and you save your comb, but you wind up with a good wax product at the end that you can. I don't have a honey strainer. They make a wax press that'll squeeze all the honey out of it. I just let it sit in an uncapping tank and let all the honey just drip out that can. And I get very little. And the other thing I do too is when I melt this down, the water that's left over, I just feed it back to the bees, because it's got a little honey in it. And
Don't water your plants on the front porch.
yeah, because the bees will be all over it. I promise you. You can put that outside. I set it out back about 50 yards from the house, and it don't take just 10 minutes. And the bees aren't even there. The bees are 150 or 200 yards away. The bees will be on that stuff in a heartbeat. just several minutes they'll be on it. But
Drinking it down.
that's what I do. They it took them about 2 hours to drink that. Of course, now I got 8 hives out there, but it took them about 2 hours to drink that much down. And all I did is I just put paper towel in it to let it float. And when I went back out there weren't any bees flying around it. I could see from the house, and I went and looked. I said, surely they didn't empty it, and they did. About 2.5 hours, probably 2 hours. So, but might as well feed it back to them. It was theirs anyway.
Any more questions for Jay? Okay, you got anything?
No, I'm good on that.
Let's help me draw. Let's give away we've got in our new crop of creamed honey, and this is blueberry flavored. And who's our lucky?
Which one of y'all got the double ones in here? Got another 11 right over
There
there.
it is. All right. So it's blueberry. Now we got. You wanna do
Here,
lemonade?
we'll pass them around. Let everybody just smell them. You can pop the top on both of them and smell them.
Draw one for our lemon cream honey.
I'm not gonna let number 11 win again.
Don't put it back in there.
I got number 10. Oh, number 10's me. I'm not gonna do that. I pulled my own self out. I'm not gonna do that. I got number 7.
Take it again. We already got it.
Well, I mean, it's really that's. I appreciate that.
Right.
Then let's do a 1 pound honey.
All right.
Is it the last one?
I had pulled number 9 earlier. So whoever number 9 is.
Number 9.
Nope, on that
We
table.
got a double winner and double winner. Look at that.
I sat at the wrong table.
Thank you. All right, Philip's
All right,
next.
we're gonna let Philip give a Philip, let's see, it's 22.
All right.
Oh!
Oh,
Now you got long.
I got 30 minutes.
You got long as you want. But we're gonna get
I don't need that much time.
Hey, they'll get up, walk out.
7:22, we'll leave if it gets too long.
Yeah.
We're good Baptists.
The word of caution on propolis and getting the cappings, disease. So be very careful where you're getting it from. You need to know that beekeeper, because believe it or not, American foul brood can be in the cappings.
That's right.
So I just wanted to kind of throw that out for you
Thank you.
and just remind you, because you never know. You know, that's the thing. But I think most of y'all, I think, know me, and I do cover South Alabama and, well, right now, Mobile, and all the way up even into Huntsville, you know, some. So they kind of got me. I don't mind working bees, but I'm getting tired of all the traveling, Richard.
I understand.
But we are supposed to get some new inspectors in Mobile. Thank the Lord. Maybe they'll start, you know, by the first of the year, where I don't have to be going to Mobile and checking our traps down there. And I'll talk a little bit more about that and what we're doing with that. And then also, I think we're supposed to get a new inspector up in Huntsville. So that way Jason and that new inspector can focus up there without me having to go up. When we do these USDA surveys, you really almost need 2 inspectors really to do them. I can do it by myself, but you know, they kind of prefer that we have 2 inspectors when we do them. So, but anyway, what have we seen this year? It's been a crazy year in some ways. The swarming it was terrible back in the spring. And why do you think that was? We had it's one of the best flows we've had in a long time. People typically have done well if they didn't have sick bees. They typically, they come out of the winter with healthy bees. Man, that nectar flow it kicked them in the swarm mode. And I had a couple of hives that just swarmed out to nothing. I mean, it was a big hive. And it just swarmed out to nothing, swarmed over and over.
This one swarmed 3 times.
I was going to say, they'll go 3 and 4 times. And oftentimes when they do that, they don't leave a queen behind, do they? No bees.
I got a queen from Richard back there.
That's right. So
She's in there now.
if they can leave enough bees behind, then you can go in, and if it's queenless. But, you know, making that call on a hive like that, you got to be real careful, too. Because you can make a call and say, I don't see no brood in there. Remember, you know, you're in transition. So if they're making a queen, you know, give it some time. I always tell people rush out, you know, and they'll buy queens and Oh, I'm queenless. And then I come out and I do an inspection, and then, then I find a queen out there, already in their hive, so just don't make too quick a call, on that. We didn't see any American foul brood this year. So we hope it stays that. We haven't seen American foul brood probably in about 5 years. And that's the worst bee disease you can get. And just hope that nobody in here ever gets it. If you do, we have to destroy the whole hive. But if you think you get it, and you are familiar, you can go on the web. I mean, I didn't want to talk about, diseases and all that, tonight, really. It's just too much to cover. But that's a big one, that you really need to pay attention to. And it doesn't always give off the odor like it's American foul brood. So just call me if you see something real spotty brood and you see something that's not right, quite right with the brood pattern. It's really usually typically spotty brood, and then the hive it'll dwindle, but you don't want to mess around with that. If you even think you got it, call me. I mean, that's what my job is. Pests and diseases, and we do enforcement. We have bee laws in the state, which hopefully everybody is getting ready to register for 2020. Please register your bees, if you will. I mean, we're there to help, but you need to. We're not trying to be nosy. We're not trying to tell you how to manage your bees, but it helps us just realize. And when we pursue grants, oftentimes they want to know, well, how many beekeepers do you have in the state? And if we don't reflect, what they really want, we don't get money. We need that money, to continue the bee program, and to be able to hire additional bee inspectors, so we can get more inspectors out there, to help beekeepers. We don't care if you have 2 hives or if you have 5,000. It doesn't matter to us. I've heard people say, well, the inspectors, they only, help the big beekeepers, and that's not true. It's simply not true. If you got an issue, just call me, and I'll be more than happy, to come out there, especially if you're having an issue and you suspect maybe disease or, but European foul brood, that's another one. We do see European foul brood, but it's not the end of the world like American foul brood is. That sometimes you can cycle through, but there's some additional steps that you got to take in order to make sure that you don't spread it to other hives, and that you can go ahead and kind of reboot that hive, to where it's healthy, once again. Because European foul brood now, it will do some damage too. And with bees drifting, I mean, it'll spread in the bee yard, pretty well, too. So nosema, we see a little bit of that. That's a fungal spore disease. We see a little bit of that. We test at the lab in Enterprise, the bee lab we have at Enterprise Community College. We test for nosema, and we got some girls over there that we've trained to put it under the microscope, and then check it and make sure. Nosema is another one that can make a hive unproductive, and it'll just sit there and it really won't do nothing. But a lot of these symptoms can be associated, of course, with other issues as well. So they can kind of overlap, as well. So we are checking for that. We'll come out and we can do washes on your hive. If you're not comfortable, with picking out a brood frame and missing the queen or whatever, we can come out. We'll come out. We don't enforce for varroa mites. It's not one of our enforcements, but we will come at it and do it as a courtesy if you're not comfortable and you think you might wash the queen or whatever. So far, I'm not aware of anybody complaining that we washed the queen, Richard. At least so far. So hope it stays that way. But yeah, we do it enough now where typically it would be very rare for us to really to miss a queen. Well, part of the big news this year, I was saying it was wacky, Africanized honeybees. We found them up in North Alabama, out of all places, Scottsboro and Pell City or Raglan, Alabama. And we had to go up. We blitzed that up there, and we got a ton of traps up there right now, which can help. But we got something new on the horizon for next year, and it's going to be what the state of Florida is already doing, Richard. We're going to be going around and collecting drone pupae from off the hives that you're grafting off of, and And that really is to benefit. I mean, we don't really have, I think we got maybe what, 3 or 4, maybe, folks in Alabama, out of all of Alabama, that are producing queens and selling queens. But a lot of this is going to come down to the beekeepers. The thing in Scottsboro was that was a swarm that this guy collected out of a lady's backyard in the middle of Scottsboro.
Was it Africanized?
Yes, a swarm.
Amazing.
So we're thinking the swarm was already Africanized. So he gets it back to the yard. He had collected it back around the end of the year. That's one of the tendencies of Africanized swarms. They typically will be small. Typically they can be real small. And so when we see that down at the port down there with our traps down there, then but we're checking everything now. Anything that comes out of our storm traps, is going through PCR up at the lab up there. We only need 4 or 5 bees. If you ever get a hive that's really aggressive, and I mean, I'm talking about, towards animals or other people, then let us know. Because we can easily come out, and we only need 4 or 5 bees. Any bees out of the hive, even pupae we can do. But we like to test it because we're trying to we want to stay, a little bit more on top of this issue, really. We got traps up. We went out. We got a perimeter thing set up there, and the other one. So he collected the swarm, and then it didn't really get aggressive until the following year, when he was out there one day and they wrapped his dog up and they killed his dog. And then there was a neighbor that had a horse over there, and it got really, and then it didn't kill the horse, but the horse got, stung. So we knew right then, thank goodness they knew to call us and let us know what was going on. And sure enough, when we got the results back, see on the PCR machine, which is basically DNA testing, that we have a scale of like 0 to 50 on it. The lower the number, the more aggressive traits, genetics are actually in that bee. So when it gets down below 30 or even 25, that's when it's going to become a problem. So we do. Michael, the guy that runs them up there for us, which I think he's left, and now they're trying to get a new person in there to run PCR for us. But even up to 50, it doesn't matter. If they got any genetics, we know really we got to destroy the hive. It's got to be destroyed, which is what we did up there. The other incident was in Ragland. It was at a brickyard, and the lady was doing a bee removal, on a shed there at the brickyard. But the complaint was, in the parking lot there, that those bees were coming out and they were really, aggressive towards people, getting into their cars. And so she said, I did a lot of bee removals in my time, but she said, I've never come across bees like this. And that's like, that throws up a big red flag. If they've been doing it for a while and then, they're that aggressive, that's the kind of stuff that we got to test, So then again, I got a perimeter of traps, set out really. And so we go out, we can even sample, I think Jason went out and even pulled some samples, off beekeepers nearby. And thank goodness, most of those, I think all of those were fine, so it's not like we're just laying down and we're not doing anything on it.
No idea how they got there.
There's no idea. Well,
Trains.
I was just going to say a truck.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No. People are buying queens and they're getting packages and they're getting nooks, which are illegal, and they're bringing them into the state. And if you're getting them out of AHB, Africanized honeybee prevalent states, like, South Florida and Texas and all along through there, if you're getting them there, you need to make sure they get a certificate. Now, if it's in a state that doesn't issue a certificate, then it's kind of hard to really monitor that. But you need to ask them, do y'all provide a certificate, declaring that they're free of Africanized honeybee genetics? But I think that's basically that's not to say that they don't hitch rides, because they can. I mean, they could hitch rides, on trains and so forth. But But with people buying queens from so many different places, I mean, there's no. I mean, it doesn't surprise me really. Now,
I didn't want to just like stand up and interrupt you, but it's a school night, so we gotta keep going out.
yeah, okay, sure, down at the Port of Mobile, we're getting more hot traps down there, Richard. We're getting more. See, what we're thinking is, Randy's been using that Phoebus test. It's an older test that we were using. That you with software, you measure the wing length and the legs and all that to see what the difference is. And there's a comparative anatomy thing between Africanized honeybee and, of course, European honeybees. But so anyway, Randy had been doing that because really that's all we had. We didn't have PCR back then. But now we're starting to think that a lot of those bees that Randy was testing with Phoebus, now we're starting to think it wasn't worth a hoot, because now all of a sudden now we're getting these swarms that are showing up hot all of a sudden down there, so, but thank goodness now we got PCR and now we can check everything that comes out of those traps down there. Because, nobody likes to work, mean hives,
Tell me.
Now the advantage is, they handle mites better. They do handle mites better, there's no doubt about that, but, we don't want to get that started up in Alabama. And maybe they won't. I don't know. Maybe Alabama is a climate where they just really won't get established, here. So I don't know. But up there in Scottsboro, he got that swarm last year and it survived. So I don't know. Who knows? But anyway, all we can do is we just ask beekeepers, be very careful, about where you're getting your bees from. And we got to do that, and then we're going to continue with testing, and we'll test, folks that are like they do in Florida. Florida's been doing it for years, where they're pulling drone pupae, off those that are grafting from those hives, to test them, make sure that they're free, But yeah, South Florida, they got Africanized honeybees down there, and I've known people that have bought queens out of South Florida, So. You never know, but hopefully we won't have to worry about that, too much more maybe in the future. And we got a new mapping system now where we use ArcGIS now. They created an ArcGIS mapping system for us up there in Montgomery, and a GIS system. And now we're marking everything, all our hives. Everything is going to be marked on our maps. So we know if we get if we get a trap that's hot, we got about 50 traps at the Port of Mobile. So all along from, way down towards Dauphin Island, all the way back up towards Chickasaw, we got all these traps with lures in them, and so we go down and we check them every month. Once a month, they got to be checked. Because you just never know, when they're going to get in there. If they're small, hey, that's the ones that I really want to check. So, we're going to continue to do that, and hopefully with a full-time inspector in Mobile, then we can stay on top of it, even more. But anyway, so that's what's on the horizon now, with this HB. Don't panic about it. Really, there's no sense in panicking about it. Really, there's not. So, but just, be careful. Heck, European bees. I've seen some pretty nasty European hives.
It Bruce his Ozark yard. Oh
yeah.
Ask me how I know.
So, but it's funny. People will tell me I got some really nasty bees, and then when I go out there, I don't have any trouble with them. And I'll tell them that, and they're like, "Really?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I just wonder sometimes if people are using enough smoke." And we see that.
Or too much smoke.
Yeah. But I think a lot of people just don't use probably enough smoke, and because I've gone out with beekeepers. And they're like, I got my smoker lit, so they hold on to the smoker, and I'm like, well, okay. I don't do that anymore, though. From now on, I like my smoker. Now, if they want to use their hive tool, I'm fine. I'm good with that. But I'm going to light my smoker because a lot of folks, to be honest with you, really still haven't learned how to light a good smoker. We get out there and we just got a little bit of smoke coming out of that smoker, And I'm like, oh boy. I said, let me go back and get my smoker. So,
you can get that smoker too hot.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you don't want to over smoke them. Yep, you don't want to over smoke them. You know, the way I do mine is I get my straw hot down at the bottom, and then I put some wood pellets in there. You know, wood smoking pellets. Then I put another little layer of straw on top of it. So when you hold that hive up, you don't have pellets coming out inside the hive. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, just pack you a little bit of pine straw on top, and you won't have to worry about it. And that stuff burns really good because you know sometimes we may be in a bee yard, for an hour or more, so we have to keep that thing. If you just do pure pine straw, well, that thing burns down about 15, 20 minutes. So we pack them real tight. But other than that,
Talk about the ABA next week.
yeah, that's September 20th. The Alabama State of Alabama Beekeeper Association. Richard can say a little bit about it, but it's a 2-day event up there, and I tell you, I mean, they got they got Susan Colby coming in as one of the speakers. Is everybody familiar with her? She's the national guru of artificial insemination of queens.
She's the queen of queens.
That's right, and Richard. Give Richard a hand. He's the one that was responsible, and he's going to have her back even in March. So Richard is working on some big things over in Enterprise with the AI. And AI, I think AI is a great tool for making sure that you have some good queens.
So let me return the favor. Philip's department helped us get the grant that's bringing her. So it's a team effort. Alabama Department of Ag and Industry, we could not have got the grant to bring her to Enterprise State without them.
But you reached out to her. You contacted her. That's right. So Richard has gotten in, really tight with her, and that's a good thing because the AI is, that's the way of the future. Especially with these genetics and hygienic, queens and so forth. Because we got to do something else really just besides using chemicals, and so the alternative is AI. That's what it's going to be going to, so we just got to get that.
Not artificial intelligence.
That's right. There you go. That's right.
Where's up there? You said it's up there.
Clanton, Alabama.
Clinton.
No,
They're at the Big Peach.
Go to the Alabama Beekeepers
Yeah, you know
Association.
where
Sign up
the
to
Peach
go.
Water Tower is. Matter of fact, I stay at the inn right there at the Big Peach.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
The
If
inn
you
of
don't
Clinton.
have-
They don't
the
give
soil,
free
they
breakfast
say
no more.
inn of Clinton.
Mm.
They're the cheapest hotel there. And
Man, everything was booked up. I got to stay up in Clara because everything was booked up. Hey, I'm staying at Days Inn in Clara. Which is just, right up the road there. Yeah, from
The
Clinton.
party spot is the inn of Clinton at the gazebo.
The what now?
The party spot.
Oh, the party. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
We got the gazebo out.
That's right.
To know every day. That's the fun.
But Richard was saying that there's supposed to be about 400 people there.
Yeah, we already.
Yeah, testing mead testers. Well, yeah, I got to make it over there.
Tracy, Ben, Yappy, Vince. Let's see. Vince is a hoot too, but he's kind of quiet.
Oh, Vince, yeah, Vince. Yeah. He's going out this year though, isn't he, right? Yeah. So he'll be going out. Richard, you're running for an office.
I'm not rerunning.
Oh, you're not?
I've got plenty to do. Well, it's to take Enterprise where we want to go.
He's moving on. He's moved on to bigger and better things, right? So.
I'm still the chairman of the Alabama Farmers Federation, the alpha for the state.
That's right.
And we have 350,000 members in the state. And so we have a lot of political power that I'm using to help all of us. And then what we're doing at Enterprise State, that's going to be plenty for me. And certainly whatever Lynn and Philip need, I'm happy to help them. But we're starting a new beekeeping class, Beekeeping 101 at Enterprise State on October 7th. You have to go to their community education website for Enterprise State Community College to sign up. They'll open up registration September the 16th. It's $40. You get a $25 book And we'll be meeting on Monday nights if the college is open. First class is October 7th in room 109 in the session building. And it's from 6:30 to 8:30, and most of the time we run over.
For how many weeks?
It'll be between, all the Mondays are open between October 7th and the end of December. We do one chapter a week out of Dr. Keith Delaplane's book, First Lessons in Beekeeping.
Richard's got one of the best classes I've ever seen as far as it being thorough. It's one of the best classes that I've seen. So it's worthwhile if you want to learn more. It's very thorough. So I highly recommend it.
But now back to the ABA next week. If you want to get everything and learn C, we've got about 50 vendors. We have one here with us tonight that's going to be a vendor. We have the absolute top speakers in the United States coming. You don't want to miss this one. I'm finishing up. It's on the board of directors, so I wanted to help have I did. And Sue Kobe will be the keynote speaker, the first speaker each morning. But my goodness, we got Stephen Toy from Mississippi. He is a Russian queen expert. And we've got Ted Mixa from Mixa Honey Farms in Groveland, Florida. But they have their bees certified. Their queens are certified. They don't have Africanized queens. Ted's a young guy. He and his two sisters have taken over the family business, but they've been in business about 50 years. It is an unbelievable list of people. You don't want to miss this one. It's the best one I ever
Well, I'm going. Who else?
remember.
I'm going. We're there. Philip, you'll be there, right?
Oh, yep, I'll be there. Yep, 2 days, and it should be. I mean, both days should be fantastic.
There's
So,
a ton of breakout sessions.
Yep.
Adler Salem, who worked at the Auburn Bee Lab for years and graduated from Auburn, and he is partners with Jeff Monroe in 5 Points, Alabama, raising queens, and he's going to teach an all-day beginner class on Saturday. I've been teaching it every year before this year, but I said, hey, I'm headed out.
pass it on to Adler.
I'll do Sue this year, and we'll move on. But it's endless. This is a great opportunity this time for sure.
But other than that, if you need me, just call me, or I got a card. I got some cards in my wallet, and if I can help you in any way, don't hesitate to call me. So I'm hoping with these new inspectors, I'll get to stay around in this area a lot more. That's what I'm hoping.
Well, Philip's going to be teaching over at Enterprise State. He doesn't realize it yet. And we're going to move as much of the stuff from Auburn Vet School to Enterprise State that we can too.
That's right.
Cool. All right. Anybody else got anything? It's getting late, Jay. Got one more thing?
You're missing your plug here, man.
What am I plugging?
What happens
Oh.
in October, man?
I have no idea. A lot of stuff. Halloween.
Well, it got passed by the state of Alabama. It got passed by the state of Alabama that the no tax on
That's
your
up to our
equipment
chairman of the board.
and your fencing and all your farm related stuff, and that means are supposed to be
No sales tax.
tax-free, sales tax-free
I'm
after
on that state
October the
board.
1st.
Oh,
Richard's
yeah.
our chairman. I'm on the board with him.
There you go.
We did get that back.
We did. Yes, we did.
So now, if all your equipment from Lynn, it'll be tax-free
Absolutely.
after October the 1st.
And hey, everybody come back next month, and I'm gonna reach out to Ed, talking about what they have going on Enterprise State, Ed and Ashley, and get them to come, maybe, I'm just gonna see. I'll send everybody a text or email or whatever, and let you know what we're gonna do next month. So hopefully I can get them to come over and talk. And they have a lot of opportunity for, if you got high school grandchildren or children or whatever, that can, they'll tell you all about it. It's educational. They can transfer credits to Auburn or
Absolutely.
I guess it's just Auburn,
No. It's any four-year college.
any four-year
What
college.
What we're doing is, rather than the community college coming up with curriculum, we are working with Auburn to prepare the curriculum that matches the course number, and then we are coordinating the numbers. And if it doesn't match what Auburn teaches, we make whatever changes we have to. And so if it's accepted at Auburn and taught at Auburn, it'll be accepted at any other college. But we're going to focus on agricultural sciences to start with.
Right, all right, good deal. Anybody else? Thank y'all for coming.
Thank y'all. See y'all down the Honeybee Road.
See y'all, yep. See y'all.